The second shape in this progression are called ellipses. So think of those as just a fancy word for ovals. All right, so we just had circles where we have a center and then a equal distance all the way around that, called the radius. Now we're going to have a center and then different distances in these directions, and it's going to create this ellipse shape. The general equation, and you'll see this is different from the circle, is going to be x minus h squared, so far the same, plus y minus k, whole thing squared. So that's the same as the circle. Where it gets different is now both of these are going to be as fractions over a squared over b squared equals 1. So the way we can tell these apart from circles is obviously that they have fractions, and now it's always going to be equal to 1. There are some similarities. Again, h and k are going to give me the center or the vertex of this shape, and I'm not going to write it this time, but again, h and k have to be opposite signs because they show up as negatives. We'll write them as positives. If they're positives, we'll write them as negatives. The other thing we need to make note of are the letters underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this. The letter A. The letter A will always go with the X. The letter B will always go underneath the Y. Okay, so that's a way to kind of tell these apart. A goes with X, B goes with Y. And what these actually mean are this. So the A value, you see how it's squared. We're going to square root it. We're going to square root A, and that is going to be the horizontal distance or x distance away from the center. Okay, so it's not a radius this time. This is going to be the x distance. So A is the x distance. What that means is B, when we take the square root of that, it's going to be the vertical or y distance away from the center. So each one has different meaning. The A is the x distance, the side to side. The B is the y distance, the up and down. So I know we're making note of it right now, but go ahead and box this up. That is the general form for ellipses. And now let's see what this actually means. Okay, so we're not creating circles this time. We're creating these oval kind of shapes. All right, so the first example is going to ask us to graph. We're all about graphing right now. So we're going to ask us to graph x plus 2 squared over 16 plus y minus 3 squared over 4 equals 1. So eventually they're going to give us just an equation, and they're not going to tell us whether it's a circle, an ellipse, or another shape. We have to tell it apart. We can tell this is not a circle because it's made up of a fraction, it's set equal to 1. These are all key indicators for us. But we can start them the same. Let's go ahead and find the center. The center is given by h, comma k. And remember, h is always connected to x, k is connected to y. Sometimes they flip the order, so we have to be careful. So here's the x, that's my h. Here's y, and there's k. But we got to flip those signs. So we have -2 and +3. That's my starting point. All right, that's my starting point. The other thing I want to find are A and B. A, remember, we look back up here, A goes on the same fraction as X. So my A is going to be this one here, but we need to square root it. Okay, so I'll mark that as A. So square root of 16 is 4. And remember, we have it marked as above. This is the horizontal or x distance. It's the side to side. So I'm just going to make a little arrow here, side to side. All right. The other one is B. B is located on the y fraction. But we need to take the square root of that. So that's going to be 2, and that is the vertical or up and down distance. You probably ask yourself, what does all this mean? But let's tie this all together now. Let's make a graph. Okay. So first thing we want to do is graph the center point. So my center is at -2, +3. So 1, 2 back, and 1, 2, 3 up. Puts us right about there. Okay, that's the center of my circle. What we want to do now is follow the A and B because it's not a circle. It's not going to be the same distance all the way around. We got to match these up. So let's go with A first. A, that is the side to side. So we're going to go 4 side to side. So that means 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and now we're going to go B up and down. So 2 up and down. So 2 up, 2 down. And you notice, see, they're not all the same distance, so it's not going to make a circle. We've created this oval shape. All right, we've created an ellipse here. A is the side-to-side distance, B is the up and down distance, and when those numbers change, this ellipse could be long ways, it could be up and down, depending on what the numbers give us. All right, so let's see if we can find another one here. Okay. Let's go ahead and graph another one. Let's say they gave us x minus 4 squared over 4 plus y minus 1 squared over 25 equals 1, and they want us to graph that. Again, we can tell this is an ellipse because it's fractions, they're being added together, it's set equal to 1, not a circle this time. So we want to start this the same. We want to start at the center. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the center of this graph. Remember, it's h comma k. H goes with the x, k goes with the y, opposite signs, positive 4, positive 1. A and B. A goes with x. So A is down here. Take the square root of that. So my A value is 2. B is with the y. Take the square root of that. We get 5. So we've got our starting point. We've got enough information to go the different directions. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of weird. Might need some more lines, so I'll leave some space for some. All right, my center is at positive 4, positive 1. So over 4, up 1. There's my center. All right, so A, remember, is side to side. So 2 to the right, 2 to the left. So 1, 2 over. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. 5 is up and down, so we need to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up 5-ish. Down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. And now we see we've created an ellipse that is more up and down oriented rather than side to side like last time. We'll go ahead and, now I can do better than that. There we go. Okay, so we had a side to side ellipse, we have an up and down ellipse here. Let's see one that looks a little bit trickier. Okay, let's go ahead and graph y squared over 4 plus x plus 1 squared over 36 equals 1. All right, let's do it the same. Let's find the center. Center is always h comma k. H. Gotta be careful here. H always goes with x, so you notice they've switched the order here. X is over here, so here's my h. And looking ahead, that means that my bottom number is going to be a. This one is k and b, so the order is switched. All right, so my h, I see positive 1, I'm going to write negative 1. K, no set of parentheses here. I can put some, but you see there's no number in there. We always need a number. That number is going to be 0. If we don't see a number there, it's going to be 0. All right. As for a and b, got to be careful. A is this one over here. Square root of 36 is 6. That's my side to side. B, square root of 4 is 2. That's my up and down. Okay, so this one was tricky because we were missing numbers. But we can still graph it. So we're going to start at negative 1, 0. So that's right here. And let's follow my A and B. A, 6 to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You go 6 this way, that's 4, 5, 6. 2 up and down. 2 up, 2 down. So a nice long ellipse here. And I'm going to do my best to connect it. And there we go. All right, so if we're missing values for h and k, we've plugged those in with a 0. If we're missing, well, and also check for the order. All right, h and a go with x, k and b go with y. So we just have to be careful. Sometimes they flip the order around on us.